All right. Episode number 1 of the Marvelous podcast. I'm Les Russell, the host, and today the episode is going to be about the concerts of artists or bands that we wish we would have seen had they been together or that individual still be alive. And I think what interested me in this is I've been going through some old ticket stubs, and for younger people that may not have had a ticket stub and you presented it to the person at the concert venue, it is interesting. Nowadays it's on your phone, and it still makes me a little bit nervous, all that stuff. But I was just going through all my ticket stubs, and I'll read off a couple that I had way back in the 80s. Hall & Oates, George Thorogood, James Taylor, Billy Joel, U2, Boston, Bob Dylan and the Grateful Dead, Bryan Adams, Pink Floyd, U2, INXS, John Cougar Mellencamp, Sting, Springsteen, many of those, Human Rights Now Tour, the Stray Cats, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks. And I'm sorry if you hear the noise in the background, that's one of our dogs. Living Colour, Huey Lewis, John Mellencamp again, Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, Genesis, Mellencamp, Springsteen, U2, Bryan Adams, Springsteen, the Black Crowes, 10,000 Maniacs, Los Lobos, Bonnie Raitt, Nils Lofgren, John Mellencamp, the Eagles, Buddy Guy, Vince Gill, Hootie and the Blowfish, Live, Taj Mahal, Counting Crows, Bryan Adams, B.B. King, Springsteen. Springsteen, that's a theme there. John Mellencamp, Bruce Springsteen, Bryan Adams. So I've been to quite a few shows, and being a concert goer, I've often thought about what artist that I would have loved to have seen, and I like to make this episode on the ones that you can no longer see, whether it be a band or an individual. And I'm just going to go over what my top 10 would be, and I'm going to start number 1 with Nirvana. Man, the grunge scene, the 90s. What do you and what can you say about the 90s scene of grunge? So I'm going with Nirvana. I don't know. Many people now get to see Foo Fighters with Dave Grohl, but something about Kurt Cobain back in the 90s. Unfortunate that he is gone, and but man, as a writer, there's just something about having or being able to see them back in the day that would I think would have been mind blowing. But I'm going to go with at number 9, Nirvana. Number 8. There's still potential for this band to get back together. Oasis. Oh my goodness gracious, did I love Oasis. Man, the brothers. Don't we all have family members that we don't like? And the Oasis brothers, they don't like each other. But damn, were they great. So I'm going number 8 with Oasis. And then number 7, and I'm still hoping that they go back together. You know, they keep, I don't know. Liam seems to think that they're going to get back together. Noel can't stand Liam, and so who knows. But number 7, I'm going with Michael Jackson. Got to put MJ in the top 10. So I'm going with Michael Jackson at number 7. I'm not talking about the Jacksons or the Jackson 5. I'm talking about Michael Jackson. as odd as the man may have been, his music was absolutely phenomenal. So I'm sliding Michael Jackson in at number 7. And then number 6, I got to go with The Clash. I have to go with The Clash. But I will say one thing. I've seen Mick Jones and Big Audio Dynamite back in the late 80s in Santa Cruz, California. So I've seen a little bit of The Clash. But I just think back in the day of, for me, they were punk rock. And I know that the Sex Pistols were big back then, but there's something that resonates with me about The Clash. And I don't know, maybe 78, that time frame. But I would love to have seen The Clash. So I'm sliding them into slot number 6. And then number 5, I'm going with Bob Marley. Yeah. Give me some ganja, baby. Don't do it, but I love me some Bob Marley. So, is there a reggae artist that is thought of as being better than him? I think not. I think you can slide Jimmy Cliff up into that upper echelon, but got to go with Bob Marley. Another person taken away way too soon. So I'm sliding old Bob into number 5. And then coming up to number 4. And I listened to Purple Rain today at work. So I got to go with Prince. And I think the man was a genius. I honestly think he was a genius. And as a guitar player, I mean, his guitar solo, whenever Tom Petty was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think is one of the greatest guitar solos I've ever seen in my life. And I'm a huge guitar fan. And that's going to bring up the person number 3. But anyway, I've got to slide Prince in there at number 4. And I have a friend that saw him live, and I'm jealous as hell that he got to see Prince, and I didn't. But I'm not sure when. I don't know if it would have been Purple Rain. I know there were many, many different... the way he performed and how different his albums were years after Purple Rain. I think it's incredible, but I'm going to go with the Purple Rain era. And that's where I'm set at. But anyway, I got Prince at number 4 and number 3. SRV, Stevie Ray Vaughan. So there, I mean, people can argue with me till the day I'm done, but I still believe Stevie Ray Vaughan is the greatest guitar player that has ever lived. I know people go for Hendrix. I loved Stevie Ray Vaughan's style. And I go back time and time again to YouTube, and I watch his videos, and I just am absolutely blown away by how amazing of a guitar player he was. I was talking with my wife earlier tonight, and I said, I'd love to say that I would have wanted to see him his very last concert, but I heard that, whether it was Eric Clapton or Buddy Guy or Robert Cray, they all said that's the best guitar playing that they'd ever seen in their life. And unfortunately that night, he was killed in a helicopter accident and passed away. So I'd love to say that I saw him that night, but the consequences, would have been just horrible. But I just, to me, he is the greatest guitarist that has ever lived. And my opinion, I know there's Hendrix fans, a lot of heavy metal fans, and throw Jimmy Page in there and Eddie Van Halen and all these other great guitarists. But I will say one thing. I think the best guitarist I've ever seen live is Keith Urban. So let me tell you that right now. So got a white country guy or a white blues player, and both amazing. So let me tell you that right now. But anyway, Stevie Ray Vaughan is sliding in at number 3. And then number 2, how can you not have the Beatles? How can you not have the Beatles in your top 10? I'm sorry, but you got to have them. I'm going to go to 65. That's the year I was born. So I'm loving on some Beatles right now. And I'm going to say this right now. I saw Nils Lofgren live, who was in Ringo Starr's All-Star Band. So there's a little bit of a connection there. So I have a connection to the Beatles. I'm just going to say that right now. Might be stretching a little bit, but this is my podcast, so I can stretch things as much as I want. I'm going to go with the Beatles. And how could you not want to see either Ringo Starr, George Harrison, John Lennon, or Paul McCartney? But I'm going to say one thing. If I had to pick one of the 4 that I'd like to have seen solo, I'm going John Lennon. Just something about his voice, and I don't know. I love Paul McCartney. I love all 4 of them, but there's something about John Lennon that just, I don't know, he just kind of grips you. And sadly, he was gone way too early. And but anyway, the Beatles are number 2. Got to go with the Beatles number 2. And I'm hoping to be in London in March of 2024. So I'm telling you right now, I might be posting some pictures of being, walking across Abbey Road. But I'll tell you what, that's going to be one of those pictures that is on a canvas and on my wall. So the Beatles are at number 2. And then number 1, how can you not go with Elvis Presley? How can you not go with Elvis Presley? There are so many of these artists that I talked about that probably thought Elvis would. I mean, I'm a huge Springsteen fan, and I know that seeing him on live television just changed his life. So I'm going with Elvis. 68 Elvis for me. Comeback special. I saw his tiny ass, leather outfit at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1993 when it opened, and couldn't believe that he was that thin to fit in that thing. Yeah. So I have to go with Elvis. There are so many musical bands and individual artists that say that Elvis Presley was the reason that older. I'm going to say older because obviously music has changed, but a lot of the older artists and bands said that Elvis Presley changed their life when they saw him. So I'm going with Elvis number 1, numero uno, and I'm standing by that. I'm standing by my top 9, but because I said it was going to be top 10, and this is my podcast, at number 10, this individual is still rocking his ass off. And his birthday is September 23rd, so give a shout out to Bruce Springsteen this month. I'm saying Bruce Springsteen 1978. I will stand by a couple things. I think Born to Run is the absolute greatest rock and roll song ever written, and I will not step down from that statement. And I still believe that he is the greatest touring rock and roller there is today. So that's my top 10. I kind of wiggled things around here because I got my top 10 in there with a person that's still touring and still alive, but it's my list and my podcast, so this Friday night I get to do what I want to do. So and it's my birthday month too, so that's my top 10. I hope that if anyone's out there listening to this, you've enjoyed this. If not, I'm not quite sure how you do the whole, when you're on YouTube, get the statement down below and this and that, or ring the bell and whatever, but I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to come up with hopefully a bunch of ideas that people think are worth listening to and watching. And I certainly hope that that you'll follow me along this journey. And so episode number 1, my top 10 list of musical artists no longer together or passed away. Like I said, I kind of fudged it a little bit for number 10, but all right, hopefully you guys all liked it, enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Love, peace, and happiness.